People, Japan is one of the most incredible countries in the world. From a global standpoint, if you look at Japan as a country, they are not the richest country in the world. They don't have humongous territories. In fact, Japan is literally at the epicenter of natural catastrophe. But every time they are faced with crisis, they somehow find an amazing way to solve it, and within no time, Japan is always back on track. In fact, time and again, it has set a benchmark for other countries to get inspired from on how to tackle a national crisis. And one of the most mind-blowing case studies that Japan gave to the world was on how to tackle the energy crisis. In 2005, the government of Japan realized that they were extremely vulnerable to energy crisis. For those of you who do not know, energy crisis is caused when a country consumes way more energy than it could produce. And this shortage of energy results into blackout, shutdown of industries, and in general, when energy crisis happens in a country, it is considered to be the beginning of an economic nightmare. And in 2005, Japan, in spite of being such a small country, it was the fourth largest consumer of electricity in the world. And what was more scary was the fact that 80% of that entire energy was coming from outside the country, as in they were heavily dependent on other countries for producing electricity. Now, on the outside, it might not look like a big deal, but if you look at it from the international standpoint, it makes Japan extremely vulnerable to three major global threats. Number one, the country that supplies electricity to Japan can literally exploit its economy by imposing trade tariffs, and Japan would have no other option other than to agree to it. Eventually, a country could systematically loot Japan using the leverage of energy crisis. Number two, every big corporation will think twice before setting up their factory in Japan, because tomorrow if Japan picks up a fight with the country, within no time it could be in an energy crisis, industries would fall short of power, and eventually it would cost them billions of dollars. And third and most importantly, in case of a war situation, Japan could be conquered like this merely by cutting off their energy supply. And as the famous saying goes, if you blind a soldier for a single second in the middle of a fight, he dies. But if you blind a country for 24 hours, the loss of life is unthinkable. So Japan had to do something to fix this problem, and for this kind of a big move, it needed the cooperation of its citizens. Now people, if you take a step back and if you look at the energy saving strategies deployed by most of the countries all across the world, you will see that the strategy itself cost them $1 billion. Number two, in spite of appealing a lot to its citizens hardly seem to care about the energy conservation of the country. And lastly, it takes a minimum of 1 to 5 years to even understand if the strategy is working or not. But you know what? Japan used a marketing strategy because of which they were able to save 700,000 metric tons of carbon, which is equal to 1.5 lakh cars taken off-road. And they were able to do this in just 150 days without spending a dollar. In fact, they technically profited by $1 billion merely because of this campaign. The question is, what exactly is this strategy, and what was so special about it that Japan was able to achieve this incredible feat? As it turns out, after doing a detailed market research, the Japanese government understood that a major chunk of this energy was being consumed by the air conditioning in the corporate offices, wherein they observed that due to the strict dressing culture of Japan, every single corporate employee wore double-layered formal clothing even during summer. And because of this, the temperature of the ACs had to be kept at a lower level. And since this happened all throughout the country, the cumulative energy consumption only due to ACs was very, very huge. So they came out with something called the Cool Biz campaign, wherein the Ministry of Environmental Affairs requested all the business corporations to get their employees to wear summer casual clothes to office. And this was done so that they can increase the temperature of the ACs from 26 degrees to 28 degrees from June to October. And they invested heavily to promote the idea in the coolest possible manner. Because Japan understood that this idea doesn't just have to be conveyed to the citizens, it needs to be marketed to them. So the government of Japan organized a fashion show wherein dozens of CEOs and other senior executives got featured, And even the Prime Minister himself was featured on newspapers and TV stories without wearing a tie and in a short sleeved shirt. And soon enough, businesses all across the country signed up for the campaign, and it gave rise to a fashion wave altogether. And you know what? The cherry on the cake was that the clothing companies saw this as a perfect business opportunity, and they launched an exclusive line of Cool Biz clothing. The barbers began to give out Cool Biz haircuts, and the entire business ecosystem came together to participate in the Cool Biz campaign. And that is how, ladies and gentlemen, in just 30 days, Japan was able to re-engineer the idea of formal attire. 180 days later, when the results came out, Japan proudly announced to the world that it had successfully turned an economic threat into an economic opportunity, wherein the GDP of the country benefited by 100 billion yen. Fast forward to today, Cool Biz campaign is being followed since 15 years, and every single year they keep improving and they keep saving more energy. Now the byproduct of this campaign was that because all the citizens conserved electricity in their offices, they automatically began to use energy judiciously even in their houses. Now there are three very valuable lessons that we need to learn from this case study. Number one, the power of storytelling and marketing doesn't just have to be restricted to selling products and services. They can further be extended even to save a country from a potential crisis. Number two, not every complex problem needs a technological solution. In this case, if you see, Japan did not use its super amazing technology in spite of being a pioneer in the technological world. In fact, they used a human-centered solution, which tells us a lot about how we can leverage behavioral design to solve global issues like climate change and global warming also. And last and most importantly, we all need to understand that shouting slogans and spreading awareness alone cannot inspire change unless it creates a business opportunity where the economy and society both can benefit together. In this case, if you see, the Cool Biz campaign did not see a single protester on the streets shouting about the energy crisis. But because there was a business incentive for the clothing companies, it led to a snowball effect wherein instead of the government alone, the business organizations also participated in the movement to bring about a revolutionary change. And this is what teaches us a very important lesson, that if we want to inspire change, we have to create business opportunities to incentivize the change. And when done right, it will automatically and effortlessly spark a revolution. That's all from my side for today, guys. If you learned something valuable, please make sure to hit the like button in order to help the YouTube algorithm. And for more such business and political case studies, please subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next week. Bye bye.